So, with the announcement date of Legends EA and all the news we've been getting about Mega Pokemon, it really had me thinking, what is the reason I pay $60 for a game, and what is my favorite Pokemon game? And based on the title of this video, I bet you can guess what my favorite Pokemon game is. Today, we will be talking about Pokemon Sapphire, more specifically Alpha Sapphire. Even though I'm considered, quote, a new gen, I have still played my fair share of old Pokemon games, such as Fire Red, Sapphire, Diamond, Y, and Moon. And out of all of these older games, I prefer Alpha Sapphire for a lot of different reasons. The first of many reasons is the selection of Pokemon you can catch. First, this game gives us 3 banger starters that I'd choose over most of the starters in any other generation. I mean, come on!
Jimmy.
They gave us Mudkip, Trico, and Fire Chicken himself. And it's not only the first evolutions that are bangers, their final evolutions are fire as well. We don't talk about the middle evolutions. I mean, we have Swampert, a super badass water starter, Sceptile, a super awesome grass starter. I'd even say he's the best grass starter. And finally, we have a Fire Chicken that knows martial arts. And let's not even get into their Mega Evolutions. Mega Swampert is Swampert but on trend. Mega Sceptile has a badass tail that can be used as a weapon. And Mega Blaziken becomes a master at martial arts. Now, I know you're tired of hearing me glaze the starters, so now you can listen to me glaze the other Pokemon in this generation. On Route 1, we can catch Poochyena, arguably the coolest Pokemon we can catch on Route 1 with a badass evolution. I mean, come on, we can catch something that can turn into Mightyena, which is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. And, not to mention, we can catch a Wingull early on, which can evolve into a Pelipper later on. So, not only does this generation have one of, if not the greatest, early on Pokemon of all time, we can still catch Pokemon later in the game, such as Gardevoir for you certain people. But, since I'm not that kind of person, some Pokemon I was thrilled to catch consisted of Lotad, Slackoth, Makuhita, and Mawile. But that's not even breaking the surface on how many awesome Gen 3 Pokemon there are. I mean, even the pseudo-legendaries put most other pseudo-legendaries to shame. I mean, come on, I'm taking Metagross over Pokemon like Kameo or Gudra any day. And Metagross isn't even the coolest pseudo-legendary in Gen 3. That award goes to Salamence, and Salamence just looks so awesome. Now, you might be thinking, what is something even better than the pseudo-legendaries? And hopefully your answer was normal legendaries. Let me just say this generation went crazy with the legendaries. You have Groudon, a literal dinosaur that can control lava, and then you have Kyogre, my favorite legendary of all time, because he's an awesome looking sea monster that has an even better looking shiny. And with these 2 awesome legendaries, the third is Rayquaza. I mean, where do I even start? Kyogre is my favorite legendary, but Rayquaza looks way cooler, and his lore is insane. I mean, he can literally turn Mega without a Mega Stone because he had enough power stored up. And not to mention, his beef with Deoxys is fire. I mean, the only other legendary that comes even close to matching Rayquaza's presence is Lugia, and that's saying a lot because Lugia is awesome. Okay, it's probably time for me to stop glazing the Pokemon in this generation, but I think I should start glazing everything else about it. The next thing I'm going to rave about is this game's atmosphere. This game takes place in Hoenn, that was modeled after the Japanese island of Kyushu. Sorry if I mispronounced that. And its surrounding islands. This is a good setting for this generation because obviously we need to be next to the ocean because one of the legendaries is kind of the ruler of the ocean. And the layout of the island will let us use certain game mechanics like surf later on. Not only did Game Freak absolutely cook with the location of this generation, but they also cooked with the map layout too. I just love the look of the towns, except for Little Root. Spent way too much time there shiny hunting Mudkip. Anyway, this game does a really good job at most of the areas. The cave was okay, but the only game with a good cave is Diamond in my personal opinion. Another reason this game is my favorite is the gym leaders. This generation did a phenomenal job with the gym leaders and gym challenges. The first gym, Roxanne, has a pretty boring team, but for the first gym, it's pretty good. The only first gym better than it, in my opinion, is Brock in Gen 1. My personal favorite gym in this generation is Gym 4 against Flannery. I personally think her team is really fun to play against, mainly because I chose Mudkip, but 2 Slugmas is goated, you can't lie. After the gyms, we have the Elite Four, and let me say this Elite Four lineup is an absolute masterclass! I mean, there is Pokemon that each member has that I absolutely adore. Sydney has all Pokemon I really like, but my favorite of his is his Mightyena, and I've stated before, Mightyena is one of my favorite Pokemon ever, and he also has an Absol, a Pokemon I think is just atrociously underrated. Now, for the second member of the Elite Four, we have Phoebe. In my opinion, Phoebe has a mediocre team that uses 2 Pokemon 2 times. Those 2 Pokemon being Dusclops and Bayonet. But she does get bonus points for how cool Sableye is. For the third member of the Elite Four, we have Glacia. Glacia has the same problem as Phoebe, but she gets a semi-pass because I love Glalie, and Walrein is an awesome Pokemon. For the fourth and final Elite Four member, we have Drake. Drake sadly has a Pokemon repeating, but it's valid because it's Flygon, and Flygon is a super cool Pokemon with a respectable moveset. And to add icing onto the cake, he has a Salamence that really holds his team together. While we're on the topic of people we fight, we have the evil teams. Team Magma and Team Aqua might be the coolest evil team in all of Pokemon. I mean, the only team that comes close is Team Rocket because of the anime and Giovanni. Anyway, back on topic. Team Magma and Aqua just want to throw hands. I mean, they are at each other's throats because one wants Kyogre for more ocean and the other wants Groudon for more earth. Now, if we are talking about which team is more valid, it's for sure Team Magma because we kind of live on land. But Team Aqua is my personal favorite, and it's not just because Shelly is a baddie, even though she 100% is. It's because I think Kyogre is cooler, and I like the color blue more than red, which may not be the best reasons, but I really don't care. Kyogre is awesome, and blue is better than red. We can now talk about the final boss, the champion, Steven. Now, if I'm being completely honest, his team is underwhelming the first time you're fighting him, with the only Pokemon standing out are Aggron and Metagross. But when you rematch him, Aerodactyl adds a lot to his team and makes his team blend way better together like macaroni and cheese. Overall, I'd say this game is super fun and had a great atmosphere and opponents to face. If I have kids, and that chance is like really, really low, I would force them to play this game, and if I ever lost my memory, I would make myself play this game again. Anyway, getting back on topic, this is why this game is my favorite Pokemon game out of the whole Pokemon franchise. So if you ever get the chance to play it, take the chance because it will open your eyes to an actually good Pokemon game compared to modern-day slop. I'm talking to you, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Get out of my sight. You disgust me.